Here's a comprehensive overview of the entire book, Skepticism and Humanism, by Paul Kurtz. This overview will cover the key themes, arguments, and significance of the work, and is designed to be engaging and informative for all of you. So let's begin. Overview of Skepticism and Humanism, by Paul Kurtz. Welcome, viewers. Today, we're diving into Skepticism and Humanism, a foundational work by Paul Kurtz. Kurtz, often regarded as the father of modern secular humanism, was a philosopher dedicated to championing reason, science, and ethical living without relying on supernatural beliefs. In this book, he intricately weaves together the threads of skepticism, a rigorous commitment to questioning and evidence, and humanism, an ethical philosophy centered on human welfare, dignity, and fulfillment. Let's explore the book's main themes, arguments, and enduring impact, and see why it remains a vital read for anyone interested in philosophy, ethics, and critical thinking. Introduction. The meeting of skepticism and humanism. Paul Kurtz opens his book by addressing the complex relationship between skepticism and humanism. Skepticism, he explains, is not just a method of doubting or denying. It is a disciplined approach to inquiry that insists on evidence, logical reasoning, and an openness to revising one's beliefs. Humanism, meanwhile, is a positive philosophy that looks for meaning and purpose within the natural world, focusing on human capacities and flourishing rather than divine intervention. Kurtz posits that these traditions, one marked by questioning, the other by hope, can and must work together. He sees skepticism as a safeguard against dogma and superstition, and humanism as the ethical compass that guides us towards a fulfilling and just society. Chapter 1. The Roots and Nature of Skepticism. Kurtz starts by tracing the historical development of skepticism, from the ancient Greeks, think Pyrrho and Sextus Empiricus, who argued that certainty is unattainable, to the Enlightenment thinkers who championed empirical science. Skepticism, for Kurtz, is not a nihilistic denial of knowledge, but a healthy attitude of inquiry that keeps us honest and humble. He distinguishes between philosophical skepticism, which questions whether knowledge is possible at all, and scientific skepticism, which questions claims based on empirical standards. Kurtz advocates for the latter, emphasizing its role in exposing pseudoscience, superstition, and unfounded beliefs. Chapter 2. The Humanist Vision. Having established the skeptical method, Kurtz moves to humanism. Humanism, he explains, is a worldview that places humans at the center of moral concern. Rather than looking to gods or sacred texts for guidance, humanists seek meaning in human experience, creativity, and solidarity. Kurtz outlines the core values of humanism: autonomy, reason, compassion, and a commitment to improving the human condition. He rejects the notion that morality requires a supernatural source, arguing instead for a secular ethic grounded in empathy, justice, and the well-being of all people. Chapter 3. Science, Rationality, and Progress. One of the central themes of the book is the power of science and rational thought. Kurtz contends that the scientific method is humanity's most reliable tool for understanding reality. By subjecting ideas to rigorous testing, peer review, and ongoing revision, science continuously expands our knowledge and improves our lives. He also discusses the limits of science, acknowledging that it cannot answer every question, especially those concerning values or personal meaning. Nevertheless, Kurtz sees science and critical thinking as essential allies in the fight against ignorance and dogma. Chapter 4. Critique of Superstition and Dogma. A core part of Kurtz's argument is his critique of superstition, dogma, and the uncritical acceptance of religious or paranormal claims. He warns against the dangers of credulity, which can lead to manipulation, exploitation, and the erosion of personal autonomy. Kurtz examines popular beliefs in astrology, psychic powers, faith healing, and other pseudosciences, showing how they often exploit people's hopes and fears. He encourages readers to demand evidence and to cultivate a skeptical mindset as a defense against such deceptions. Chapter 5. Ethics Without Religion. Can we be good without God? Kurtz answers with a resounding yes. He argues that morality is not the exclusive domain of religious faith, but is rooted in our shared humanity. Humanist ethics, he writes, are based on reason, empathy, and the consequences of our actions for others. Kurtz explores how ethical principles like honesty, fairness, and compassion arise naturally from the human condition. He discusses the importance of moral education, social cooperation, and the development of character, all within a secular framework. Chapter 6. The Meaning of Life and Human Fulfillment. Addressing one of the oldest questions in philosophy, what is the meaning of life? Kurtz suggests that meaning is not handed down from above, but created through our relationships, achievements, and contributions to society. He rejects nihilism and despair, insisting that a life without supernatural beliefs can be rich with purpose and joy. Kurtz highlights the importance of love, creativity, community, and the pursuit of knowledge as sources of deep fulfillment. He encourages readers to find meaning in the here and now, rather than in promises of an afterlife. Chapter 7. Democracy, Rights, and Social Justice. Humanism, for Kurtz, is inherently democratic. He argues that respect for individual rights, freedom of thought, and social justice are essential to human flourishing. Skepticism plays a role here, too, by challenging authoritarianism and promoting open debate. Kurtz explores the historical struggle for civil liberties, equality, and the rule of law. He calls for an ongoing commitment to human rights, not as divine decrees, but as principles grounded in human dignity and mutual respect. Chapter 8. Education and the Cultivation of Reason. A recurring theme in Skepticism and Humanism is the central role of education. Kurtz believes that teaching critical thinking, scientific literacy, and ethical reasoning is the best way to equip individuals for life in a complex, pluralistic world. He critiques educational systems that prioritize rote learning or indoctrination over independent thought. Kurtz advocates for an education that fosters curiosity, open-mindedness, and the ability to engage constructively with diverse perspectives. Chapter 9. The Dangers of Relativism and Cynicism. While Kurtz champions skepticism, he warns against sliding into cynicism or radical relativism, the idea that all beliefs are equally valid and that truth is unattainable. He argues that, even though certainty is rare, we can still make reasonable judgments based on evidence and reason. Kurtz sees humanism as a bulwark against nihilism, offering hope, direction, and a sense of shared responsibility. He encourages readers to balance skepticism with a positive commitment to truth and human welfare. Chapter 10. The Global Humanist Movement. Kurtz situates his ideas within the broader context of the international humanist movement. He recounts the formation of humanist organizations, the drafting of humanist manifestos, and the ongoing struggle for secularism in public life. He emphasizes the importance of global solidarity in addressing challenges like poverty, war, environmental degradation, and human rights abuses. Kurtz believes that humanism provides a universal ethic that can unite people across cultures and religions. Conclusion. The future of skepticism and humanism. In his concluding chapters, Kurtz reflects on the prospects for skepticism and humanism in the 21st century. He acknowledges the persistence of superstition, fundamentalism, and irrationality, but remains optimistic about the power of reason and human cooperation. Kurtz calls on readers to embrace a skeptical, humanist outlook, not as a rigid ideology, but as an evolving, open-ended project. He urges us to confront our deepest questions with honesty, to seek fulfillment in our shared humanity, and to work together for a more just and compassionate world. The lasting impact of Skepticism and Humanism. Skepticism and Humanism is more than a philosophical treatise, it is a manifesto for living well in a secular age. Paul Kurtz's legacy endures in the countless individuals and organizations inspired by his vision of a world guided by critical inquiry, ethical responsibility, and a profound appreciation for the human adventure. For those seeking clarity in a world awash with misinformation and fanaticism, Kurtz's book is a beacon. It reminds us that skepticism is not an end in itself, but a means to a richer, more meaningful, and more humane existence. Final thoughts. If you're interested in the big questions about truth, morality, meaning, and what it means to be human, Skepticism and Humanism is an essential read. Paul Kurtz challenges us to think deeply, live ethically, and never stop questioning. His book stands as a testament to the power of human reason and the enduring potential for progress, even in the face of uncertainty. Thanks for joining this exploration. If you enjoyed this overview, please like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most thought-provoking books.